Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope all is well. What will the third temple be like? We hear a lot that we want the Shibanu Beis Hamikdash b'mheira b'yameinu v'semcha k'kenu b'sur sacha. We ask Hashem, we ask the Almighty to build the Beis Hamikdash speedily in our days. Something we long for, we yearn for at every single moment. Why is it so special? What is so important about the Beis Hamikdash, the third temple? What's going on here? Well, in order to understand this, we have to recognize that the world is meant to experience a revelation of God. The ultimate purpose of creation is because Nisaveh HaKadosh Baruch Hu dir b'sachtanim. As we speak about Allah in Hasidut, this verse translated as, why was the world created? Because Hashem desired a home in this world. Hashem, all the heavens have a relationship with God. They experience God. They're in awe of God. They're surrendered to God. They're nullified to God. They follow Hashem's orders perfectly. But in this physical world, we have a choice on whether we want to follow God's words or not. We have a choice on whether we want to humble ourselves before God and answer and follow His orders and make Him happy, so to speak. So that is Hashem's greatest desire, that in this physical world where we have a choice, where we have free will, where we have the opportunity to do the opposite of God's will, that in this very place, that's where God desires a home the most, where we actually choose to serve Him. We're in our free will, where we have the option, we have the choice to go against God, God forbid. We're in that very place we choose to serve Him, and that is what is most desirable to Hashem. So now that we understand that, we understand we'll understand what the Beis Hamikdash is all about. And the Rebbe explains in Basi Lagani, in his first discourse, his first mimer, his first Hasidic discourse called a mimer, the Rebbe explains that the main revelation of God, that the main experience of God's presence, the main realization and experience and actually being aware of God's presence and whatever and all that comes with that happened when the temple was built, was with us, was existing. And therefore, because the Beis Hamikdash had the Holy of Holies, where there was a revelation of the Or Ein Sof, of God's infinite light, and it was shining into the world, therefore that signified and that facilitated, and that was the actual experience, that was what caused, and that was what was experienced of God's presence in the world, which I should emphasize is the most pleasurable experience possible. Any pleasure, this has been mentioned before, but any pleasure we think is really a pleasure, in comparison to the experience of God, is not a pleasure at all. As the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Rebbe of Chabad, explains in his book Derech Mitzvosecha, that any pleasure in this world that we can imagine can't really even be in the same discussion, can't even really be compared to godly pleasure. That all the pleasure in this world combined, that every person of all time has ever experienced combined, is nothing compared to one single moment in the lowest heaven of spiritual pleasure. And that's just the lowest level of spiritual pleasure. But the Beis Hamikdash was a much higher level than just that. So now we can really begin to tap into the level of pleasure experience in the Beis Hamikdash. And that is only in the first two Beis Hamikdashes, the first two temples. But the third temple will be on a far greater level, because it will experience both positive aspects of both temples combined, and it will be everlasting. It will never end. So this is why we always pray for the Beis Hamikdash, because this will be marked by the coming of Mashiach. This will be caused by the coming of Mashiach. One of the results of the coming of Mashiach's leadership, is he will build the Beis Hamikdash, and this will be the place where this place will facilitate and will be the vessel to which God's infinite light will shine forth and flow into the world, where literally we will see God. We will literally experience our Master. As we learn in the book of Nevi'im, the book of prophets, that our Master will no longer hide himself from us. In this world, Hashem hides himself at first glance. He has to in order to give us free will. He doesn't necessarily have to do anything, but he chooses to hide himself from us at first glance so that we can go out and seek him. You think of the game hide and seek. There has to be a hider and there has to be a seeker, but the ultimate purpose is that the seeker finds the hider. That, and infinitely more so, just to give us an idea, is that Hashem is only hiding from us so that we seek him. And so that when we reunite with him, when we experience his revelation once again, it will be far greater than ever before. Because as you know, if you have a good close person, a good friend, a family member that you're very close to, and you didn't see them for a while, once you see them again, your relationship will reach even greater heights than before they departed from you. And Hashem, of course, never departs from us. He's always with us at every single moment. But when Mashiach arrives and the base of English is built, we'll experience automatically. We won't have to put any effort. But right now, in these times of galus and these times of exile, we can still relate and experience God's presence. And that is through literally just turning to him in our hearts and seeking him. And literally just wanting to become closer to our Master. Immediately, he will come to us in a revealed way, according to our level. And of course, through learning Hasidus, through learning the Hasidus, which teaches the teachings of Kabbalah in a way that each and every person can understand according to their own level. By learning Hasidus, we tap into these deep godly levels, and we literally we grow to know our Master already in these times. And we learn that the Hasidus is the Torah of Mashiach, and Kabbalah, they're the Torah of Mashiach. Why? Because they allow you to learn the secrets of Torah. They allow you to learn to experience Hashem, and in the times of Mashiach, it will be whatever that experience is of Hasidus and Kabbalah now, just at it to a much greater extent, because it will be flowing into the world tangibly. So let's take this into our hearts, let's get excited, and let's get ready to greet Mashiach. You can support us at the Torah channel. We just added a thanks button, so you can donate to us automatically through YouTube. So may Hashem bless you all, and may we experience this today. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's bring Mashiach.